Power Tracks presents the most powerful sport on earth, the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Power Tracks is brought to you by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevy truck.
Hello, everybody. I'm Richard Leake, along with Army Armstrong. We are in Charleston, West Virginia, at a beautiful football stadium. It's a sweltering day right now, but in just about an hour or so, the sun is going to set, the crowd will be here, and the monsters will be rolling, and it marks the return tonight of Stomper.
A lot of people are very excited about the competition this evening. Stomper, of course, going in Louisville, Kentucky, demolishing the truck. They've been thrashing, putting it back together. We're glad to have them back on tour.
Well, besides Stomper tonight, also keep your eye on the Chevrolet USA 1 machine of Rod Litzow, and, of course, the Ford Bigfoot and Rich Hoosier.
You've got to keep an eye on those fellas, but also you've got some other fellas starting to work their way up in these national points chase. The Carolina Crushers here. Of course, Paul Huffaker currently third in the national points chase. He's going to be really working hard to get a good finish in the event.
And, of course, the show is going to be added by the fact that we've got some new drivers competing tonight.
The Pennsylvania Mountain Monsters here, along with some other trucks. A lot of new blood starting to appear on the Renegade Tour, Richard.
So it's going to be new blood and old blood, and it's going to be a shootout. Tonight in Charleston, West Virginia, we'll be back with all the action in just a moment.
Listen to the heartbeat. It's the first all-new full-size pickup introduced in this decade. The advanced new Chevy with more cab room than Ford, plus a brand new extended cab.
Rough, tough, working stuff. Feel the heartbeat of America. Next to today's Chevy truck.
Take the test drive of the decade in the new full-size Chevy.
The heartbeat of America. Next to today's Chevy truck.
For many years, they've carried our beer. A special breed. Delivering a special brand. Today, the Clydesdales also carry a message. One of consistency. Care. Of natural ingredients and exclusive beechwood aging, which give Budweiser that distinctively clean, crisp taste. The Clydesdales. Today, they carry our message of quality.
Is the place.
Hey, Gene, can you give me a hand here?
Be right with you, John.
Thanks. Let me tell you, Jean's my favorite helpful hardware person. She knows everything. How to fix stuff, what tools to use, the right kind of paint to buy. Hey, there's nothing she doesn't know.
So how can I help you today, John?
I just got a couple jobs.
Well, nothing we can't handle. Let's start with the toggle bolts.
Toggle bolts?
Ace is the place.
She knows just what to do and how to do it. Hey, let me tell you, Ace is the place for me.
Welcome back to Charleston, West Virginia. I'm Richard Leake. I'll be topside. Army Armstrong to be trackside this evening. As we take a look at Bigfoot, he's about ready to make his bye run. Bigfoot, your fastest qualifier tonight. That, of course, the Rich Hoosier machine. Army will speak with him in just a moment. Then our competition has Carolina Crusher and Gary Porter up against the Pennsylvania Mountain Monster and Kid Raring. Following that, the Buffalo Trimmer, John Kwasniewski, will take on Stomper 1, driven tonight by Gail Medford. Then we're going to have Pablo Huffaker just showing off against the Jersey Outlaw, Nick Rossi. And finally, USA 1 and Rod Litzow challenging Scott Stevens in the King Crunch machine. Right now, Army is trackside, though, with your national points leader, Rich Hoosier.
Rich Hoosier picked up an odd lot single by virtue of having quick qualifying time tonight now. Lane choice, so important. You qualified out of the left lane, you come back and you make your run out of the right lane. What's the reason behind this?
Well, Army, I wanted to check the lane out to see actually which one is going to be better for myself. It's kind of hard to tell right now. I made a real clean run on that left lane, and this one here kind of bounced me around a little bit, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I might go back and try that left lane tonight.
So Bigfoot, quick qualifying time, a little bit of advantage right now. He doesn't know where to put that advantage, left or right.
Well, we'll find out because our first round of competition is about to go door to door. Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter, is going to be taking on the Pennsylvania Mountain Monster and Kid Raring, Army.
Kid Raring's new on a tour with us. It's our first opportunity to see him. The Crusher's been here before, but he's made some major changes. As a matter of fact, he's actually lengthened the chassis on his truck about 20 inches. He's in the right lane, gets a good leave. It looks like he's out on top of the Mountain Monster, Richard.
All right, this is a straight shot down this beautiful football stadium here in West Virginia. Your winner is going to be Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher. He'll move to the quarterfinals, and we're going to move trackside in just a minute to get an interview with the driver, Gary Porter. Meanwhile, that's the Pennsylvania Mountain Monster, Kid Raring. All he can hope for is to have a fast losing time so that he might possibly come back in later competition. Let's go down to Army.
Gary Porter advances with a Lynn, working the right lane. You looked awfully clean on it.
Thank you. The right lane seems to be the best lane tonight.
You going to stay over there?
Yes.
Now, a moment ago, we interviewed Rich Hoosier, and he said it didn't look like it was as good as he thought it was. You think the right place is the place to be in?
I think the right lane is, for me, you know, each truck works a little different, so the left lane may be the best lane for him.
Chevrolet saying the right looks good. Ford's still undecided as to where he's going to go. We're going back upstairs to Richard.
One of the trucks here tonight is that one right there, the Stomper Chevrolet. Now, just a few weeks back in Louisville, Kentucky, went through a terrible crash. They haven't even got it really all put back together yet with the paint job or anything. But earlier today, Army spent some time with the driver, Gail Medford.
Standing behind me, the Stomper Monster truck. Doesn't look like it, but thanks to the efforts of this man on my left, they're putting it back together. Gail Medford, team driver on the Stomper truck. Mike Witt went on his head in Louisville, Kentucky, and you guys must have been doing a lot of thrashing to get this thing back together.
We've been working pretty hard, Army, for 2 weeks now, and we've probably got about 2 more weeks to go.
Have you made any changes in the vehicle, or are you going back the way it was?
We moved some weight further to the back end of the truck now, so it won't go over on its nose anymore.
The event that when Mike went over with the truck, you had just changed horsepower. You'd really stepped up to what we would call a double B funny car style engine. It seemed to have a tremendous amount of horsepower. A lot of people are saying that was the reason the accident even happened, was because of the big engine. Did you keep the big engine, or did you go back to less horsepower?
We kept our big engine, which is twice the horsepower of the other one we had in there. In Louisville, we twisted off our crankshaft bolts. We didn't have any power when we landed. If we'd have had power, we could have pulled out of it.
So it's kind of interesting, the fact that four-wheel drive, these drivers rely so much on that front wheel to pull them out of any danger. Got to pull them out. Can't power them out.
Well, let's see how the Stomper machine can power his way down the track. It's going to be Stomper 1, Gail Medford, going up against the new guy on the circuit, Buffalo trimmer, John Kwasniewski. Now, if you think his name is hard to say, look at where he's from. Lackawanna, New York. So let's shorten it to Johnny K to make it easy on us all. John Kwasniewski takes on Stomper, and they're off and rolling.
Johnny K gets a gate job on him, but the Stomper, oh, we're in trouble. Stomper, engine seems to be going away. Medford stays after it, almost frustrated driving styles. Medford won't quit with a Stomper, Richard.
What a wild ride for the Stomper 1 machine of Gail Medford. As a matter of fact, he went off course, and that's going to result in a disqualification for Gail Medford coming off the line, taking a wild run down the track. That means Johnny K advances on.
Gail Medford been fighting the blues all year long. I don't think the luck's changed around. Gail, come here a minute, please. Looks like, I'm sorry to be a bearer of bad news, looks like another engine let go on you on that shot.
It's been a bad day all the way around, Army.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gail Medford, a tough break. They're trying to put the truck back together. We're going to let the Stomper crew get to work.
So from the shadows of the state capitol in West Virginia, we'll be back with more first-round competition in just a moment.
VCR is about to explode as man and machine wreak havoc. The world's best push their talents to the edge and beyond. The action is brutal. The danger is real. The name of the game is survival, and not everyone can play. You will be there. You'll see it all. Sports cars, stockers, off-road, motorcycles. 60 radical minutes of mechanical mayhem and motorized madness. This is the best and most exciting racing action video you will ever see. Others may imitate, but you're watching the original havoc. Up in the air or down in the mud, it's all pure havoc. Order now. Call 1-800-847-7000. COD orders. Send $39.95 plus $3 shipping and handling to Power Sports, P.O. Box 6838, Encino, California 91416. Order now. This is a limited offer.
Get ready for racing under the lights on the world's fastest half-mile track. Defending champion Dale Earnhardt takes off at the Busch 500. Saturday night at 7:30 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Back in Charleston, West Virginia, you see the Stomper 1 machine, Gail Medford, being towed off after that wild ride and disqualification. He's through for the night, but hoping to move on, Paul Huffaker out of Conroe, Texas, and just showing off up against Nick Rossi and the Jersey Outlaw. And this ought to be a whale of a battle on this beautiful football stadium field.
Side by side, the Fords leave. Huffaker out of the Lone Star State takes the advantage in the right lane, but immediately gets out of shape on the first jump. They were worried about the track conditions. Huffaker goes after the second jump again. The track seemed to be going away, Richard.
Well, the track is in awfully rough condition. You saw that earlier in the Stomper 1 run, and you see it again as Paul Huffaker moves on. Of course, on the circuit, he's known as Pablo. The just showing off machine will move into the quarterfinal round competition, and we're going to move down trackside where Army Armstrong has cornered the winner.
Paul Huffaker out of the Lone Star State of Texas. Paul, you're the first Ford to advance into the next round. Did you learn anything on that shot?
I need to hit that first set of cars a little different. They're throwing you off bad to the right. The bounce coming off that first set, like cost me the race then.
I noticed that, you know, in previous runs down that right lane, that looked to be the place to go, but everybody seems to be coming off different. Bigfoot came off the right side. He landed kind of strange. You landed kind of strange. What causes that?
It could be a lot of it having to do with the dirt ramp exiting the cars on that first set, throwing you a little bit left to right as you come down it. That and the bounce as you come off of them. As you'll notice, when we land, we're bouncing back up in the air again and then landing in the dirt, and that's really fouling things up.
Okay, so Huffaker advances to the next round with a Ford-powered vehicle. We're going back upstairs to Richard.
Well, a big crowd here in Charleston, West Virginia, enjoying all this Renegade TNT Monster Truck Challenge action. This will probably be our best first-round competition right here. Scott Stevens and King Crunch up against Rod Litzow in USA 1. And Rod, Army, is really gaining on Rich Hoosier and Bigfoot in the national point standings.
You know, Litzow came into the tour about 3 races late, but he is just putting on a supercharge. He's going after that big blue Ford with a white Chevrolet that goes by the name of USA 1. This run has to be side by side, the 2 most powerful monster trucks in the country, and Litzow puts a gate job on the Texan, but Stevens nose heavy, trying to pull him back. Richard, we're coming to your end.
All right, it's going to be Litzow with the lead at the finish line. A great run for Rod Litzow, but also a good one for Scott Stevens. Don't be surprised to see Scott come back as a fast loser. Let's go trackside now. Army has got Rod Litzow outside the USA 1 machine.
Well, I tell you what, Scott gave you one heck of a run out there.
Yeah, both courses are really rough. They're about, you know, the same just today compared to yesterday. They're both the same kind of run, so it's going to be a rough run.
So in the next round, Huffaker advanced, Hoosier advanced with Bigfoot. How you feeling about this semifinal?
Well, it's going to be a tough one. It's just going to be the way the cars are throwing us. We got the big holes in there now. We just kind of have to hit them right. It's just going to be the driving skills.
What are the holes a result of?
That's what makes it throw you sideways. If you come off a jump and you hit a hole, they'll throw you one way or the other that you don't know about, and then all of a sudden you got to try to make up for that. That'll lose your time.
We'll let you get back to your crew. Congratulations on advancing in the next round. USA 1 Chevrolet, we're going to see him again later tonight in competition.
Well, Rod Litzow does advance. Meanwhile, Scott Stevens out of Woodland, Texas, although he got beat in the King Crunch machine, he is waiting to see if his fast running time down the course will advance him on to the quarterfinals. Army, you might want to explain how that works.
Well, the quick loser in the previous round always gets to come back when we have an odd number of vehicles. Stevens a long way from home with love. He just found out, Richard, he is going to advance. So congratulations to the King Crunch Coors crew. They're still in the action.
All right, so King Crunch will move on into the quarterfinals now. Scott will go back to the pits and start working on the King Crunch machine. Obviously a happy guy here in Charleston, West Virginia. It's always nice to know that you can move on even though you lose in your first round competition. And we're going to have quarterfinal round competition coming up next. And to kick it all off, it's got to be the Scott Stevens machine, King Crunch, taking on the ultimate in monster truck racing thus far this year, the national points leader, that is Rich Hoosier in the Bigfoot 4.
I tell you, Scott Stevens was grinning ear to ear, and I don't blame him. He's had a terrible, terrible summer as far as luck goes. He's flipped end over end in Colorado, tried to get the truck back together. He's got the right idea. He's got the right combination. He just can't get it to drop at the right time for him. He represents Chevrolet in this run, of course, for all the Ford fans. We love Bigfoot, they're saying. They're going to be coming off that left lane. A good job by the Chevrolet. The Ford's going to have to come from behind. Hoosier has his work cut out for him. The track conditions could dictate a winner. Richard, what does it look like on your end?
It looks like another heck of a finish here in Charleston, West Virginia, as the winner is going to be Rich Hoosier, doing what he's done so many times this year, putting on a late charge to take the win. Rich Hoosier and Bigfoot moves on. King Crunch goes to the pits, and we return on ESPN with more action in a moment.
Hey, even us tough guys like a little extra comfort underneath. That's why I switched from ordinary underwear to Hanes. Now I'm just a great big teddy bear. Right, guys?
It's not just underwear. It's Hanes.
Right, guys? Right, Coach.
Burning, itching, cracking, peeling. These are the symptoms of athlete's foot that can stop you in your tracks. But Desenex actually cures athlete's foot and puts you back in the running. Desenex, the classic cure for athlete's foot.
Today's Duracell batteries are built to last up to 30% longer than the ones we made a few years back. Guaranteeing a long, happy life. Today's Duracell lasts 30% longer.
Back in Charleston, West Virginia, I'm Richard Leake. As you see the home of the political leaders of this great state being overshadowed tonight by the home of the monsters here at Laidley Field in Charleston, we move on into quarterfinal round competition where it's going to be Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher machine taking on Buffalo Trimmer with John Kwasniewski, the guy we have nicknamed Johnny K.
Johnny K, like we said a little bit earlier, his first time out on the tour, he's kind of impressing a lot of people, but the Carolina Crusher, he's finished up in the points on the tour. He is in the top 5. He stretched the chassis on the truck. Keep an eye on him. The question right now is which lane you're going to go into. You got to remember, quick time in the previous round gives you lane choice, but they don't know which lane to choose, Richard.
All right, so we are just about set to go. The Renegade TNT official has his arms in the air. He drops them, saying they're ready. They'll wait for the green lights. It's on, and we're off and racing.
Porter gets a little bit of a jump. Johnny K's coming after you. Johnny K fell into one of the holes we've been hearing about. The stretch wheelbase Chevrolet looks like he will advance, relatively staying upright compared to the way the rest of the competition's been going this evening, Richard.
Well, Gary Porter does move on, so obviously the change he made in the truck made a difference earlier today. Army spent some time with Gary discussing that change on Carolina Crusher.
You know, monster truck racing, one of the big questions the drivers are all trying to answer is long wheelbase or short wheelbase. Standing with me, Gary Porter. Now, he'll drive the Carolina Crusher Chevrolet truck in the competition. He stepped up. He's one of the strong independents, but he's made a major chassis change. Gary, we noticed the truck looks a little bit longer this week.
Yes, over this past weekend, I cut the truck in half and stretched it out 20 inches.
Okay, now, what's the advantage to stretching that wheelbase?
Well, I got the longer wheelbase, and it should give me more leverage, and the truck won't get as much air.
You think it'll be a little bit more stable as far as the handling characteristics?
Yes, it should be.
Have you had an opportunity to run the truck with the new chassis setup?
No, this is the first race.
So Gary Porter is speculating a long Chevrolet truck is going to run a little bit better than a short Chevrolet truck on a Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge Series.
Well, it's no longer speculation. It's a fact. It worked for Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher. He moves to the semifinals, and now one of these two guys, or maybe both of them, are hoping to advance to the semifinals. First off, we've got the just showing off machine of Pablo Huffaker. He'll be taking on the USA 1 Chevy of Rod Litzow.
Rod Litzow right now closing in on those national points. Your current leader, Bigfoot, believe me, is watching this run. He'll be drawing the right lane. Sitting on his left, out of the Lone Star State of Texas, a kid that started at the bottom of the sport, literally wrenching and changing the tires. Now he's up to driving his own truck. That'll be Paul Huffaker in the awesome Ford that goes by the name of Just Showing Off. Huffaker, believe me, the Texas heritage shows in this kid. He is not intimidated one bit by that Chevrolet. Huffaker will definitely give him a strong run. Let's see what's going to happen when the lights go green.
And they are off and running.
Huffaker looked to me, Richard, like he got the initial jump. Hits the first set of cars. What does it look like on your end?
Huffaker with the lead, but here comes Rod Litzow in the USA 1 machine, and he's going to take him at the finish line. Rod Litzow's the winner in the Chevrolet USA 1, but another great run by Pablo Huffaker.
Huffaker could still be in this thing. Remember, quick losing time will keep you in the program. We got to keep an eye on the official scoreboard. Coming back to you, Rich.
All right, well, they're checking the scoring time to see who will move into the semifinals. We do know it's going to be Bigfoot 4 against Carolina Crusher and USA 1 against somebody. Let's go down to Army Armstrong. He's got the semifinal pairings now.
Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. We've only got 4 remaining. You lose in this round, you're putting it on a trailer and going down the road. You win, you stay alive to come back to be in the final. The final 4 are going to be as follows. The Carolina Crusher. Strong runner Chevrolet looking good. Also representing the Chevrolet camp will be the USA 1. He's working his way back up through the pile. For the Ford camp, Paul Huffaker out of the Lone Star State of Texas will be carrying the Ford colors along with the Ford Blue Bigfoot.
All right, so we are all set, and it's going to be a Chevrolet versus Ford semifinal round. The crowd anticipating this battle as we are set to go with Rich Hoosier, your national champion points leader, out of St. Louis, Missouri, and Bigfoot 4 against Gary Porter from Wadesboro, North Carolina, and Carolina Crusher.
Another Chevrolet Ford battle. Looks like Bigfoot, the initial advantage went to him. Hoosier looks to be stretching it out, but Porter's trying to pull it back, Richard.
Porter coming out strong, but he goes off the track there as he comes across the second set of crunch cars. That means Hoosier will advance to the championship round. Rich Hoosier with another classic battle, this time against Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher. And you know, if it hadn't have been for Porter going off the track, he might have had a shot at knocking off your national points leader. Let's go trackside now with Army Armstrong.
Rich Hoosier's going to take the Ford colors into the final. We don't know who he's going to be going up against, but I tell you what, this young man gave you all you wanted tonight. Gary Porter came off of that right lane. You put him over to the left side. Did you think that gave you an advantage?
Yes, I wanted the right lane, so I thought I had a little advantage.
Earlier in the evening, we had a discussion with this young man right here. He said the lanes were not like they have been in the past. The lanes are basically a crapshoot tonight. He took that shot out of the left lane. That puts him in the final.
And now we're going to find out who is going to... Final fast matchup between USA 1 and Rod Litzau, and just showing off Pablo Huffaker.
You know, it's going to be the...
This is ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
Knows he can beat this fella if he works in that right lane, so he's making him go to the left. However, we told you earlier, Huffaker is not afraid of anybody. He'll give that left lane the best shot of the evening, I would imagine, trying to make it an all-Ford final, Richard.
Well, Pablo don't want it to be exactly like the quarterfinal matchup because he lost that. He wants to win this one to move in against Bigfoot 4, but strong push late in the point season to reach that first place position of Rich Hoosier in the Bigfoot 4 machine.
He's getting such a leave on these guys. He's really leaving the line hard. The only person who was able to get out in front of him tonight was Huffaker in the previous time they ran. I don't know how to call this thing. The track, I believe, will dictate the winner. They come out side by side. The Ford actually gets to the jump first and gets a little bit out of shape. Chevrolet's trying to come back on him.
Looks like there could be problems with Pablo Huffaker's machine. Just showing off, looks like he had problems late down the track. That means the winner is Rod Litzau out of Spring Lake, Minnesota, the winner in USA 1. I have no idea, possibly steering or transmission problems with the just showing off monster truck of Pablo Huffaker. We'll find out in just a minute as Army Armstrong is down trackside. He's going to get both your winner and your loser to find out how this matchup went.
Rod Litzau, you're going into the final. It's kind of like a broken record. You and Bigfoot. You representing the Chevrolet camp, him representing the Ford camp. Can you pull this thing off again tonight?
I'm going to give it my best shot.
Right lane, left lane. Which lane are you going out of?
I'm not sure. Rich will have the choice on that on this time. He had the fastest quality, so he'll have a choice on it.
Which lane would you prefer?
Probably stick to the one I got, because I've been running it, but it looks like either lane is doing the same thing. It's really a rough track today.
we're going to let you get back with the crew. Real quick, we're going to congratulate Paul Huffaker. He got to the semifinals, Paul. Notice the transmission line went away on you on that run. Are you aware of that?
I lost the front steering hose when I landed on that first set of cars. That's why as I came down, I was going to the right. I couldn't steer it.
Well, I'll tell you what, both of these drivers, they put on a war, the old classic Ford Chevrolet, but it comes down once again to that exact same final, USA 1 and Bigfoot. Back up to you, Richard.
Well, the Monster Mash-Off is next as we'll crown the champion in Charleston, West Virginia.
Be a part of the most powerful sport on earth with a TNT membership. Get 12 issues of Power Tracks, the monthly pulling magazine, a Redman TNT pulling cap, a TNT Motorsports patch, Redman and TNT decals, plus a 10% discount card on all mail order purchases. Send check or money order for $24.95 to this address, or charge it to your Visa or MasterCard by calling 1-800-227-3167. Order now.
Okay, listen up. Oakley Hill's filling in for Ball tonight.
For 3 years, Bill Oakley took orders. But tonight, he's got to stand up and take charge.
You make America work.
Here's to you, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood-aged Budweiser. For all the guys who know it's not what you say, but what you do.
Sport on Earth, truck and tractor pulling, and monster truck racing to your area in the near future. The Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge visits the Augusta Expo Land in Fishersville, Virginia, September 10th and 11th. Spartan Stadium in San Jose, California, October 1st and 2nd. And the 5-Star Speedway in Pensacola, Florida, October 7th through the 9th. The Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series visits the campus of Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana, September 17th and 18th. The Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds in Davenport, Iowa, September 23rd and 24th. And heads indoors on September 30th through October 2nd at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. A combination Redman TNT Pulling and Renegades TNT Monster Truck is scheduled for October 7th and 8th at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. Join TNT Motorsports for the most powerful sport on earth. And back in Charleston, West Virginia, this capacity crowd is waiting for exactly what we are. The final round, the Monster Mash-Off, the crowning of the champion, and tonight it's what they all want. Rich Hoosier in the Bigfoot Ford going up against Rod Litzow in the USA 1 Chevrolet and Army. These two guys are not only battling for the points championship right now, they have got an intense rivalry between them.
You know, they're very friendly before they get in those vehicles, but as soon as they strap in, believe me, one of them is representing the Ford camp. That'll be Hoosier representing Bob Chandler's operation, currently on top of the monster truck Powell. But out of the coal country, Everett Jasmer has teamed up with Litzow to put a late-season charge on to put Chevrolet on top of the monster truck Powell. They can really close a gap right here. Like I say, away from the trucks, they're best of friends, but right now, you're looking at a street fight. First one that can get the other one's throat on this run is going to do it. This is what it's all about. Winner or loser, Chevrolet or Ford, side by side. The crowd really getting into it. We're going back topside for you to give all the action, Rick.
Well, besides the Ford-Chevy battle, you got a battle of prides. The pride of Rich Hoosier, the current national points leader, against the pride of the rising star Rod Litzow out of Spring Lake, Minnesota, waiting for the green light to fall, and does. They're off.
Hoosier had to put a whole shot on him. He did exactly what he had to do. Hoosier working the right lane to perfection, a little bit out of shape as a USA 1. Hoosier keeping a 4 straight. Ford looks like to take the win, Richard.
It is Rich Hoosier as Rod Litzow. A little bit of problem there. Got a little squirrely on the course. That has cost him the win. Your champion again, the Ford of Rich Hoosier and the Bigfoot machine. The crowd absolutely loving it, especially the Ford fans. But then again, the Chevrolet fans have nothing to be ashamed of as you see Rod Litzow about ready to jump out of that monster Chevrolet USA 1. Let's go trackside with Army.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a final. These fellas put on...